welcome to GoKwik Future of Commerce, where we dive into the transformative impact of technology on the e-commerce ecosystem. Now, as we launch Season 2, we're going to explore how advancement in artificial intelligence, in data analytics, and digital payment solutions are reshaping how businesses operate and connect with consumers. Now, this season highlights the latest innovations that are driving e-commerce, from personalization to voice and visual search, customer service automation, and evolving shopper trends. For more on how brands can harness these advancements to stay ahead in this very fast evolving world of commerce, we have with us Chirag Taneja, the co-founder and CEO of GoKwik. Chirag, thank you very much for joining us back here after what has been less than a year since we last spoke about this. In that little time, 10 odd months or so that have passed, how has the world of e-commerce really changed? What are some of the biggest highlights that stand out for you?
I think e-commerce as a space continues to be very, very exciting on various different fronts. I'll share with you some various different anecdotes or data points which we continue to see. When we met earlier in December, Jan, we were like 1 in 4 shoppers we had studied. Now, in the last 10 months itself, that's evolved to like 1 in 2, if not 1 in 2.5. So that's the growth we are seeing in festive. Direct to consumer grow more than double what marketplaces grew. So marketplaces were around 25%. We are growing upwards of 60% during festivals.
Okay.
And that's been an interesting trend. If I look at the repeat orders, that's gone up like 5x in the last 2 years. I think there is some underlying depth which is being created in the market. One can potentially say that we are in the 2009-10 China moment, wherein GDP per capita is going above $2,500. So we are seeing all of this discretionary spend starting to be visible across sectors, right? And now it's coming specifically to e-commerce. So as Jeff Bezos has said it, that there are 3-4 primary things to understanding e-commerce. So one is convenience leg of it, one is selection leg of it, affordability leg of it. So convenience, we are of course seeing this massive trend of can you deliver faster, right?
Yeah,
that's one.
The impatience is growing by the day. Yes,
but it has been always been there. Can you help me, surface things which I need, basis my needs? Can you help me transact faster, reduce failures? All of that stuff is all about convenience, right? Then there is selection piece of it. We were like almost 1 lakh SKUs 2 years ago. That's grown like 20 folds now.
Oh wow.
So we have 20 million SKUs.
Wow.
So imagine, how wide the selection has become on direct to consumer. So that's one big thing. I think from a affordability point of view, we were probably, the single digit less than 0.1% in terms of pay later or pay in EMIs as options.
Okay.
That's become like 3% of our net today.
Okay.
So, affordability is increasing. You're seeing movement on convenience. You're seeing movement on selection. So all of that is leading to more opportunities across the spectrum, right?
Okay.
Some consumers are loving the selection, hence they are buying. Some consumers who prefer faster delivery to, a wider selection are buying. Some people who couldn't afford are saying, okay, can I take a loan and, pay later in some format. So all of that is leading to wider growth across the spectrum.
All right, Chirag. So that's the broader ecosystem you gave us a glimpse of, whether that is, the number of stock keeping units you have, how those have grown, the convenience, the affordability. But what about what GoKwik on its part is doing to solve some of these problems in e-commerce, whether that is with product innovation, some of the technologies that you're using? Tell us about that.
We've always thought that this is a world where data is the new oil, and then you have intelligence, which is the new drill, and then you have applications on top of it.
Yeah.
Right. So we have built the company accordingly, and you look at our progression in terms of solving for different e-commerce problems and helping merchants realize more GMV. So we started with this interesting RTO, which is the return to origin India specific large problem. And we solved it by using a lot of this intelligence. We've studied close to 125 million plus users now. And we are able to real time predict that what's going to happen with this order. And then basis that, as a merchant, you can decide to take various different actions on top of it. Right. So we started with that, then moved to solving for, payments. We thought that payments experience is still broken on e-commerce.
Yeah.
Can we solve for that? We have probably 3x that number in terms of experience and solving for drop-offs.
Yeah.
So that's what has improved. We have personalized that as well. And then it led to doing us full checkout. We were closer to the merchant. Merchants told us that why don't you take up the full thing?
Okay.
And we power today close to 15 million transactions a month through that checkout. So that's a quite testament of the way we have moved in terms of adding. And we add like almost 20% of incrementality via our checkout.
Okay.
So that has progressed well. Then of course we have an interesting product which is around retention marketing, wherein we started with this that okay, can we help you identify more users who come to your website instead of giving money back to Facebook or Meta? Can we help give you this retargeting capability?
Okay, how do you do that?
So think of us like a SSO login everywhere, and that is now available across these 10,000 merchant network which we have.
Okay.
Which is growing rapidly. So we are able to enhance or give you incrementality on that abandoned pages as well. Right. So imagine if somebody comes to your website, browses a few pages and then abandons. And if that user has been identified on a GoKwik network with privacy consents, then we give you that access. And this is staying within the data protection acts.
Of course.
So that has worked out well. We've just launched our customer data platform. So think of us like powering a lot of network intelligence around that customer data.
Like a CRM?
Like a CRM, but it has added in network intelligence on top of it.
Okay.
So for example, you will be able to see that okay, this consumer does more shopping in the evening. What is their preferred payment option? What is their preferred AOVs? What is their preferred segment? Right. So you can fine tune your messaging accordingly. And with AI coming in, the world is moving towards more personalization. So we thought that if we layer in this data, then I think it becomes even more beautiful for the end customer, for merchants, for everyone.
The e-commerce market is already $70 billion in India. Hard to believe that number. It is that. And it is on course to more than double in the next few years. You've spoken about some of the technology that you're using, but largely, what would you say the role of technology will be in expanding this market? And how are you making sure at GoKwik you're ready to capitalize on it?
It's been quite a journey. We were like pre-pandemic, we were 3-4%, and we've already gone to 7%.
Of the retail.
Of the retail, yeah. And my sense is that as we have crossed this GDP per capita of $2,500, which is considered to be a threshold, you will see this e-commerce behavior continue. And at some point in the next 5 years, you will see a massive jump, right? So like technology grows in the S curve. Okay. So we will see witness it.
Where are we right now?
It's very difficult. We can always, see things when they happen.
In hindsight,
it's difficult to predict these things. But we have seen across countries this has happened, right? If we look at it from that lens, Gen Z has started to shop. So movement is already there in terms of that market is growing secularly. Sure. Whether it happens $200 billion in 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, I think that's for forecasters to decide. But I think what we can definitely see is that the trend line is there. It's quite secular.
Okay.
What does it mean for people like us that okay, with AI coming in, with so much amount of data available, how can we help give more personalized experiences? So think of it like I'll talk about very, very small things. When you come on, I'm a little bit of a different believer when on AI. I believe that AI is giving us capability. Think of it like internet today is being retrieved. A lot of information in internet is being retrieved. Whereas AI gives us capability, can we create on the fly, right? So which is very different world from what we are today. And then can we give you personalized, right? Whether it is your product pages, whether it is dynamic pricing, whether we can retarget you in a dynamic way. All of that possibility is open. My sense is that, while AI, the cost factor is still to be solved. I think we are in that wave. Maybe in the next decade or so, we are heading there in terms of solving for that. So that's very interesting. And I think all of this leads to better profitability, less dependence on manpower, which means, from our point of view, we believe that people should be selling directly. So this gives even SMBs even more power in terms of selling directly. If you are good at making product, can we help you, solve for other myriad challenges of the business and help you sell directly. So all of that is becoming a possibility.
Well, we'll get to some of those aspects in just a bit, especially the personalization angle with artificial intelligence. But you briefly alluded to this return to origin problem, which is very unique to India and very big in India. Just tell us how you're using technology to solve for it in maybe more detail.
So this is different from returns. This is somebody who's ordering on cash on delivery and then decided not to take the order. Think of these like failed deliveries where somebody comes to your doorstep and you're deciding not to take the order. Right, so it's a loss for the merchant. They pay a forward as well as reverse logistics. Logistic companies gain both sides, so they are not affected by it. Hence, it is popularly thought that maybe logistics companies at the helm of creating this. But if you fundamentally go deeper and see that where does the problem originate? I think this is largely a problem of consumer intent. Most shopping today is happening via Instagram. So there is an impulse purchase which is being induced, and then consumers are coming in and shopping, right? So in that shopping moment, as a marketer, I would want to reduce friction so that you do the transaction. However, all consumers are not the same, so you would want to have a little bit of friction wherever, let's say, you feel the consumer is showing lower intent, or can you do something to make their intent higher? That's largely how I would frame the problem.
Okay.
And then we thought that can we be in this business of predicting consumer intent real time and figuring out what can be done with high intent, low intent, all of that stuff. Today we have studied close to 125 million users in India. I would believe that we have the most prolific shoppers who are shopping in India.
So the intent is going up.
Overall intent, of course, is going up. There is money in the pocket which people want to spend. You look at what people are buying today. So people are buying Comets of the world. So there is this huge sneaker trend in India.
Yes.
So all of this shows that people are spending on fashion, etc. But coming back to how we have taken a stab at solving for RTO. So we have largely predicted that this is what is going to happen in this transaction basis past behavior of that customer, of that brand, of that product. And then given brands various different options in terms of what you can do, right? So we started early wherein we said, we are going to give this score, and then merchant said, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And now we have figured out various different options in terms of extreme option being, can I not offer you a COD, or can I offer you a COD with an additional charge? Can I offer you something on prepaid? We have interestingly, came up with this new yet to be patented payment method called part pay COD, wherein you could pay like some percentage. So let's say if a order item is 1,000 rupees, you could pay $50 today and $950 at the time of delivery.
I've never seen this option in any of the cards that I've shopped from.
It's starting to, so on our network, that's like a single digit percentage of overall payment volumes.
It's gaining traction.
It's gaining traction because it works for both sides. If you have a lower trust, then you're okay to pay 50 rupees. So it solves for the merchant, it solves for the customer. And we see that, that significantly. And interestingly with us, you don't need to apply it to everyone.
But here
so maybe you are a good high intent shopper anyways. So you would, not see that option. So you will see that hyper personalization on payment pages, and then communication post that also. Bases our risk factors in a beautiful way. We in fact have launched something called as quick flows. So through which you can create your own workflows. So let's say, if somebody is at high risk and they come to your website, you can decide that, and it is from, let's say, X pin code, which is supposed to be low risky. Then you can decide a different workflow from them that they will not have any kind of friction. Whereas if somebody is very high risky, comes from a high risk pin code and has a demonstrated history, then you would have a different, action basis that can I, reconfirm your order via CAPTCHA or via OTP. All of that can happen. It's just, power is in the hand of the merchants these days.
They have the information.
They have the information. We have created all of that. And significantly, we have made a delta of upwards of 30% in terms of reducing RTO for the network. So it's what was theory day one. I think in 4 years, we have traveled a journey wherein, of course, we have invested a lot in terms of building that. There is a huge data science team which works day in, day out on solving for that. It has gone to that level where, it's become like industry for, if not, we are going to see this adoption across the world. We have a few countries globally where there is, adoption of COD, which we see.
You spoke about some of that interesting personalization, and that is in payments. You're talking about how COD can be part payment. What is the other kind of personalization you're bringing about in the entire customer experience thanks to the use of technologies?
So think of, customer journey on e-commerce as they discover something, then they land on the website, wherein, they are trying to form a view that, okay, do I want to buy? They have different questions, and then they move to, the checkout process, and then they do payments, and then they move ahead. And then there is the repeat behavior, right? You can potentially have personalization across this journey, right? So let's say, can I surface ads to you on Meta, which are more personalized?
Okay.
So depending on, let's say, we have signals in terms of, let's say, Bangalore, it's raining. Can I show you a graphic or a video which is like rains, and then, induce more intent that way? It's more personalized, and of course it leads to better conversion rates. And then when you land on the website, similarly, when you land on the website, can I show you information which is more sought by you depending on your behavior? So let's say if you have had questions around how to use, or can I have more social proof around it, that have some of my friends used it? What does review look like? All of that is becoming a possibility, right? That's where it is headed. And then of course, the Lego of that, okay, I've decided to buy. Can you make it more frictionless? Right, which is the world is about, okay, can you make it single click?
So we're talking about this personalization, and there's been a lot of technologies that have been around for a while, but the new Joko in the back, the artificial general intelligence. How is that reshaping things when you look at personalization, when you look at product development, and how businesses are shaping up for you?
When it comes to artificial general intelligence, I think my view there is that we are still far from, general intelligence. But however, there is a lot of application of artificial intelligence in e-commerce or in all spheres, right? So think about, hyper personalization, as we've been talking about. While, the segmentation was always there. So whether it was recency, frequency, monetization basis segmentations, those have been used for last 10 years, right? Can we add more layers on top of it? So think about that, we were able to do personalization basis pin code. Can we go a little bit deeper now? Yes, that has happened. Now clusters, finer clusters, maybe more homogeneous, is what has happened. So that personalization has happened. Then, if I start to think about, okay, is there more usage of artificial intelligence in customer support? For sure, right? We are seeing that both in support as well as in outbound sales call. We are seeing clear adoption, clear use cases of AI coming in. It's a matter of time, I think. I think cost issues are also being solved. So it's starting to happen. Then there is this interesting, concept of proactive commerce. Can I predict, can I seed what you are going to buy basis your past behavior, what you are going to buy in the next 2 months? So, that is very, very beautiful, very, very enriching for everyone in terms of predicting demand. So you can actually go back to supply chains and actually build that, and then surface to the right consumers, maybe do more micro warehousing closer to the customer, and service them really, really, really well. So it fits into the equation. That's where it is headed. I think AGI, might still be away, but we are seeing some pieces of that already starting to play out. Similarly, as I was saying, I think with AI coming in, there is going to be a large use case of solving for fraud prevention. Imagine, somebody is telling me that I think some avatar is going to get launched who can go on my behalf to a Zoom call and then participate.
Oh yes, we've seen those on Shark Tanks.
Yeah, so imagine that, if somebody goes in an internal call and says, okay, you should make this payment, etc., or you should do this.
Deep fakes,
Yeah. How do you solve for that, right? While AI is solving for most things in a most personalized way, somebody has to solve for this fraud prevention also, right? So that is what technology will solve for. My pragmatic sense is that AGI is still away, but secularly, have we made progress in AI? For sure.
If you look at India today, perhaps the entire country is now covered by e-commerce now. And what is the repercussion of this widespread adoption on companies, especially those that are looking to target not just the overserved urban markets, but the non-urban markets as well?
What we are seeing is that, and if I look at our journey, or maybe, my previous journey as well, 2017 e-commerce started with, few thousands of pin codes. Now, of course, it is expanded mostly to, I would say that we are able to serve 90% of pin codes, if not all. So, of course, it has expanded. And there are, I think, if you double click on it, has the demand increased because of e-commerce? Some bit of it. Have we eaten into, let's say, offline world or even the modern retails of the world? For sure, yes. It's not a silver bullet that okay, there is net new demand, etc. It's like mix of all these three things, and different segments have played out differently. So like what we are seeing in like top 10 cities, what is happening on quick commerce is that largely here consumers are spending way more on discretionary, are even willing to pay a lot extra for convenience, which we are not seeing in tier 2, 3, 4. Right, so tier 2, 3, 4 is still about selection, that okay, this brand is not available here, can you help me? Even if it is 4 days, 5 days, that's fine. Right, so there it is that if you go to tier 3, tier 4, while selection is of course there, there is this low, or I would say it's still low ARPU region, wherein the models what Meesho taught us worked well. I think those are still continuing to play out, that there are reseller models, there are this unbranded fashion segment, which is largely look at it as a selection piece. And there different challenges at different points of time. If you go to tier 3, tier 4, we are solving for cash on delivery. There cash on delivery is like 90% plus. If you go to tier 1, you are solving for okay, can we demand forecast and predict in this region this demand is going to happen, and then can we surface inventory faster. So different segments have different challenges, and that leads to what you were asking, that does it hurt some of these established players? I think there is some market share movement. I don't have the correct answer in terms of okay which way it is heading. I think it's still net increasing the pie overall, while there is some market share movement is how I would read it.
But what is true today is, irrespective of what's happening in one sector or the other, is that companies have to adopt digitally, and especially in e-commerce, you have to be omni-channel. You can't just be online or just offline. How are you at GoKwik helping some of the companies achieve this to solve the problem of scaling by adoption of online and offline?
You look at the world today. While we discussed that we are 7% e-commerce of total retail. If you look at it from the decision influence which online does, probably that number is like 60-70% now. Right, so all decision making with respect to buying is getting influenced by some digital media. Right, whether you are watching it on Instagram or searching something on Google, you may end up buying offline or in some other manner, but there is some influential point which is starting to happen. And then of course brands have had this view of that okay, we should be closer to the customer, and customers have been shopping in an offline way. So what we are seeing is, can there be singular technology systems which can talk in terms of different channels. So for example, if you are going in an offline shop, can we figure out that you are a repeat shopper which has already shopped from our brand.com, right? Which is like, you would say, okay, this is a very rudimentary problem to solve, but we are at that stage today wherein the channels are not speaking to each other, right? So step one is, can you ensure that channels speak to each other? And second is, okay, can there be real-time inventory syncs? Knowing the customer and knowing about your products real time is going to be key. Largely what we believe is that these channels are going to emerge in the future even more. It's going to become multi-channel. And like we have seen quick commerce, we are going to see more avatars of shop-in-shops, people coming to your trial shops happening in your societies, etc., etc. All of that is going to happen. What it means for the customer as well as merchant is that, can you give a unified experience to the end customer? They shouldn't feel that okay, when I shop on Amazon it's a very different experience, when I shop on brand.com it's a very different experience, and when I go offline it's like a whole new world where I have to stand in queue and the brand does not know me, even in spite of being repeat customer on website. Similarly, from a end merchant point of view, also merchants also want a unified experience, wherein can I get like one holistic view about that customer? Is that a high LTV customer for me across channels? That's how it is different, from a traditional, let's say, Unilever, which was 30 years ago. wherein you would build a brand business
Yeah.
and you would want to be spread across. But this is like very data-led business in that way.
There are various studies that suggest that going into the future, say 10 years, 15 years from now, almost all purchases are going to be made online, 90% plus or so. What kind of innovation is critical, to sustain this momentum, to get to that level of growth, and to also, whatever the consumer behavior, how they've changed by then, to adopt to that?
While the trend is quite secular in terms of, all decision making is being influenced by digital.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time that, we move towards where all transactions at least, are being made digitally. Now think about, different pieces. There is this multi-channel approach. How do you unify experiences there? And then there is this new advent of technology, right? We are seeing a lot of push in terms of AR, VR being there. Our view is that, the shopping is going to become universal in nature. It's an experience in experience of force. And can you surface seamlessly my shopping experience wherever, I'm there? So think about that today, you're watching something on Hotstar.
Okay.
Can I surface basis your needs? Okay, what are you going to buy? We are seeing this world where, Amazon is trying to do that. Netflix is trying to do that, wherein you would have placeholder items within, let's say, series, and we would surface what you would need. So if it's a tote bag, it's a tote bag. If it's a water bottle, it's a water bottle. So we'll change basis personalization.
Okay.
So we are moving towards there where all of this immersiveness within whatever we daily consume is going to happen. I think we are moving away from the world where, people were going specifically for shopping. Shopping is becoming part of very integrated human nature and can be embedded in your overall experiences. Then of course, we need to solve for these atoms pieces, as we call it, which is
that?
So we are a bits business. There is this atoms offline business.
Okay.
Wherein, you solve for, can we help you deliver faster?
Okay.
There is today the big bottleneck, there is human involvement, which is costly. Now, of course, there is this movement towards drones. So that's going to happen. That's going to ensure that, deliveries happen 24 hours with high predictability and very low cost.
Okay.
So that's happening. Then there is this demand forecasting, which is going to enable a lot of micro warehousing. That's happening. We are already seeing hyper personalization in terms of, can I create something on the fly instead of, the whole entire website or the shopping experience being pre-created. Can we create on the fly basis your needs today? So that's there. And then, of course, there is this interesting requirement of moving towards secure payments, affordability. We believe that world is moving towards more credit. And India specifically is moving towards more credit. So you will see a lot of this happening wherein how do you ensure secure payments via credit modes is where it is headed.
Well, if you were to summarize all of this and you've given us a glimpse of what may happen the next 10 years down the line or so, what are some of the trends that you think currently that are playing out will have the most impact on the future of commerce as we know it today?
The movement in technology led by artificial intelligence is going to have a significant impact in terms of the way we shop, right? It's going to have implications across the spectrum, whether it is how you select to how you solve for support, how you solve for returns, etc. across the spectrum, right? Or how do you induce me to get repeat shop? There is going to be plugging in of intelligence everywhere. So that's going to happen. Similarly, as we are seeing this advent of quick commerce, we are definitely going to see this also as secular, that if consumers are becoming a lot more, I would say, instant gratification, wherein can I get this now, is happening. We are seeing that emerge in trends in terms of searches, etc. Wherein I was surprised that people would be seeing were not searching this 5 years ago are now searching this. So that movement is there, and that, by the way, is unique to India. So which might give us like a lot of global opportunities for Indian companies to go out and do this, right? What Amazon did in various different parts of the world. We definitely, it poses a global opportunity for us. These are the two large ones. predicting or getting things faster to me, and then of course trying to know, okay, what do I need, and then surfacing technology, using technology to solve for them.
Okay, so finally, let me ask you, before we bid you goodbye, Chirag, what next for GoKwik? By the time we perhaps speak next, whenever that is, in a few months down the line, what new products and innovations are you most excited about?
We are a very, you can say, data-led, intelligence-packed company. We solve for a lot of applications which are intelligence-based. As I said, that intelligence is the new drill, if data is the new oil. So we continue to work with a lot of our merchants in terms of solving some of their big plaguing problems. And now, of course, we've solved for some painkillers. We are now giving them more vitamins. Right? Can we help you become more stronger? And the way we would solve is that, okay, can we help you deliver faster? Can we help use our data to forecast demands, which is a hard problem to be solved in a country which is as wide as India. Can we solve for that? Can we solve for secure payments? Can we solve for creating on the fly personalized experiences across mediums? So not only on brand.coms, across mediums. Whether you are looking at watching a movie on Netflix, can we work in some way? So that's where we are headed in terms of solving for it. We of course continue to deepen our existing products, take them more global. We are seeing that what India has witnessed because of UPI payments, evolution of payments, market deepening is quite unique. I have been traveling to different countries and haven't seen some of these which we feel are basic, haven't been solved there. So we are starting to go more global. Hopefully I should have more updates by the time we do a 3.0 of this.
Well, and we wish you all the very best with that, Chirag. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts here today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. Look forward to this.
All right, on that note, we're going to wrap up this special conversation. Thank you very much for tuning in. For now, it's a goodbye from all of us.